I'm really working on gratitude for what I have instead of looking at my failings and being in victim mode, but I'm not where I want to be. There's a spark missing in my life. I'm finding there's a conflict between being grateful for where I am and what I have and still not being happy and fulfilled. As if striving for more is being ungrateful for my life at the moment. Beautiful question. So, what we have to all practice is a state called unconditional gratitude. You'll notice most people practice what's called conditional gratitude. And we know that to be true because when somebody is thinking about gratitude, they're normally using the word for. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for. Yes or no? Is a conditional relationship they're having with gratitude. Gratitude is you being grateful in this moment, regardless of circumstances. It's just you being grateful, right? Grateful in this moment. You got the blessing of life. Your heart is still freaking beating, meaning you're living. That's gratitude. Yes? So once we made that distinguishment, here's a fact. Be grateful for what you have, but never settle for less than you deserve. Be grateful, but never settle for less than you actually deserve. Now, why is that important? Well, philosophers, psychologists, scientists have been studying the topic of happiness for long as we can possibly remember. And deep down, whether or not you believe you want happiness, you do. Yes, we all want an element of happiness in our life. We want to feel better. Yes or no? So knowing that there is a science of happiness, doesn't it make sense for us to deconstruct the science? Yes or no? Because this has been a topic of philosophers for thousands of years. What makes a human being happy? And if you look at, for example, one of the ancient theories that was coined by Aristotle, he said happiness is rooted in this word called, pronounced arete. Write that down, arete. Yes? And he said that happiness is when you are expressing your full potential, when you are unlocking more of what's within you. It's expressing the best version of you from moment to moment to moment. And if you look back on your life, the times you were unlocking more of your potential to the world, to yourself, you felt happy. And modern psychology now links how a human being is actually happy with Aristotle's theory of happiness. They have discovered that happiness doesn't come from possessions or accomplishments, and we know that, right? Temporary things, put your happiness in temporary things and your happiness will always be temporary. Yes or no? Yes. They have found that true happiness comes from us growing ourselves. So therefore, they have linked the true happiness with us experiencing more as well as growing ourselves. And how many of you agree, if you look back on your life, anytime you was growing, as in you were stripping away some of that limiting belief, as in you were stepping out of your comfort zone, yes? Anytime you was going through it, being challenged, but accepting the call and moving forwards. Yes, perhaps in that moment you're saying, oh my Tim, this is stressful. But if you look back on that moment now, you're like, wow, I felt freaking alive. How many know what I'm talking about, by the way? So what is very important is this. Yes, we're grateful for existing. We are. However, we're going to strive. Why? Because that's what awakens us. That's what makes us feel alive. Look at nature. Everything in nature slowly but surely growing their very DNA. They're evolving. They're evolving. That very desire to evolve and grow is within you. And this is why anytime you have felt like you're literally dying, it's because you weren't growing. Anytime you've been stagnant in your life, you'll notice that is often when you have reached depression. That's often when you feel like life has no meaning, when you weren't growing, when there was no purpose, when there was no striving for a goal. How many know what I'm talking about? This is why we grow ourselves, because as human beings, it's in our very DNA, the desire to evolve. That's why we commit to mastering ourselves. And as you do that more and more, you'll feel more and more alive. So anytime you're really tired, remind yourself you're not tired, you're just uninspired. There's a very big difference. And you're uninspired because you're doing so little of things that actually awakens you. How many know what I'm talking about? Do more of what awakens you, unlocks you. Do more of what's challenging you, puts a freaking, palm sweating in you, right? And you'll notice you feel freaking alive. How many of you want to feel alive? How many of you tuned in have ever felt the emotion of being alive before? That came from growth, not stagnation. True, true. That came from you going for it. That came from you investing when you were scared. That came from faith over fear.